Sixth grade Excel, lesson 138, dividing a decimal number by a decimal number. In these problems, the divisor is not a whole number. Divisor is this number out here. It's not a whole number. Write in the numbers given in words, multiply the divisor and dividend by an appropriate power of 10 to make the divisor a whole number. Compute the answer and then check it by multiplying the original divisor by the quotient. If your quotient is correct, the product will equal the original dividend. So the way we do this, if there is a decimal out here in the divisor, you have to multiply that divisor by 10, let's say, if it's right there in the middle. If you multiply it by 10, then the decimal point moves over to there. And since you multiplied the divisor by 10, you have to multiply the quotient by 10, and that decimal point then becomes between the 9 and the 6, and it would come straight up to right here, right before the 3, because 32 goes into 96 3 times. So the answer is 0.3. Now let me show you why exactly we're multiplying both of these by 10. This is like doing 9.6 divided by 3.2. Okay, remember, fractions are division problems. This number divided by this number. This is the dividend, this is the divisor. Well, what I can do is multiply this by 10 because it's a fraction, and this by 10. You guys have been doing that forever. And when I multiply 9.6 by 10, I get 96. And when I multiply 3.2 times 10, I get 32. Now I'm no longer dividing by a decimal, I'm dividing by a whole number. Let's say we've got the problem 6.35 8 divided by 0.07 or something like that, okay? Well, what I want to do is multiply this by 100. So I'm actually timesing it by 100 to get the decimal point out of that number. I have to multiply that times 100 also. And so I end up with 635.8, because I moved the decimal point over 2 spots, divided by 7. Now this number is no longer a decimal. It doesn't matter if this number is a decimal, because when I do the division like right here, I just move the decimal point straight up into my answer. But we don't know what to do with it when it's over here in the divisor. They checked it right here, and it comes out to be the same as what we started with. All right, so here's some problems. We're going to do the first one together. It says 0.76. Go ahead and write that on your paper for number 2, 0.76. Divided, oh, that's not right. Put it in the wrong place. Let's get rid of that. 0.76 should be in here, divided by 3.8. So 3.8 comes out here. Okay, we cannot have a decimal here in our divisor, so I'm going to move that over one spot. Move this over one spot as well, so that I'm multiplying both of them by 10. That decimal point is going to come straight up in my answer, and then 38 goes into 76 2 times, because 2 times 38 is 76. So we put 0.2 for our answer. Now let's check it. 3.8, you should be writing this on your paper, times 0.2. 8 times 2 is 16. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Okay, 8 times 2 is 16, carry the 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. And then I'm going to move my decimal point over one spot here, one spot there, so it goes over 2 spots. So I get 0.76. And 0.76 was the original number. I did move it over, but it's got to come out to be this number, 0.76. All right, why don't you just do number 3, pause the video, turn it back on when you're ready to see the solution. So you should have put 20 in here, divided by 0.05. You're going to move the decimal point over 2 spots. Remember, the decimal point here is right there, kind of hiding. So I'm going to move it over 2 spots, so that it goes right here. And my problem is actually 2,000 divided by divided by 5, because I just got the decimal out of there. 5 goes into 20 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20, and then we have nothing going into those 2 zeros. So the answer is 400. Now remember, the original number over here was 0.05. So to check it, I have to do 400 times 0.05. All right, 0 times 5 is 0. 0 times 5 is 0. 4 times 5 is 20. And then I have to move my decimal point over 2 spots for that right there, and I get the number 20. And that was my original number, because it said divide 20 divided by 0.05. All right, pause the video, do number 4, and then turn it back on when you're ready for the solution. Here's the problem that you should have written down right here. We're going to move the decimal point over 1, 2, 3 spots. Notice this is where the decimal is to start. We move over 1, 2, 3 spots right there. We have to fill these empty places with zeros. Extend the line out there. 6 goes into 42 7 times, and zeros for each one of those right above there. So you're going to do 7,000. 7,000. It's not moving. Okay, that little stuck problem here. There we go, 7,000 times 0.006. And you put a 0, a 0, a 0, because 6 times 0, 6 times 0, 6 times 0. 7 times 6 is 42. And then we have to move the decimal point over 3 spots right there. So the answer is 42, and that's what I had here to start with. All right, here are 4 more problems for you to do. Pause the video, fill in the problems themselves, and then see if you can solve them. Turn it back on when you're ready to see the solution. All right, here's the actual problems that you should have written down. You have to move this over 1 spot, so this comes over 1 spot, and the decimal point goes right up there between the 2 and the 1. 8 goes into 72 9 times. 8 goes into 1 0 times, but it goes into 16 2 times. So the answer is 9.02. And then you should have checked that by doing 9.02 times 0.8 down there, because that was my original number, and then you should get 7.216. I'm not going to show that whole thing to you for the sake of time right now. Right, in this one, decimal point over right there. So the decimal point comes right up there. 7 goes into 33 4 times. That's 28. We have a leftover of 5. 7 goes into 56 8 times. So the answer is 4.8. And you should do 4.8 times 0.7, and you get 3.36. All right, the next one, move the decimal point over 3 spots here. Goes right there. So move it over 3 spots here. Goes right there and straight up. 3 goes into 9 3 times, nothing left over. Goes into 0 0 times, or 3 goes into 0 another 0 times, and 3 goes into 6 2 times. So the answer is 300.2, and you multiply that times 0.003, and you will get 0.9006. All right, the last one, move the decimal point over 1 spot right to there, 1 spot right to there, so the decimal point goes right up there between the 1 and the 4. And don't forget that 357 does not go into 1, does not go into 14, and it does not go into 142. So you need those 0 placeholders in there. It's going to go into 1,428. And I believe it's going to go in 4 times. Let me try that. 357 times 4. 7 times 4 is 28. Carry the 2. That's 22. Carry the 2. 3 times 4 is 12. Yep, there it goes. So it goes in 4 times. Your answer is 0.004. You multiply that times, I would put the 35.7 on the top. It can be way easier to switch these numbers. But then you should get 0.1428 as your answer. All right, this is a checkbox for you to try. Pause the video, turn it back on when you're ready to see the solutions. First one here, move it over 2 spots. You got to move this over 2 spots, which means we need a 0 in there. Decimal point's going to be right there. 2 goes into 5 2 times, remainder 1. 2 goes into 13 6 times, remainder 1. And 2 goes into 10 5 times. 265 is that answer. There's really no decimal point in it. All right, move this over 1 spot, so we move that over 1 spot. Comes straight up to here. 64 does not go into 1, does not go into 19. How many times does it go into 192? Goes in 3 times. So you're going to put a 0.003, right? Oh, no, not 003. That's not right. Let me get that off of there. 0.03. 03 right there. And then on this one, move this over 3 spots. So move that over 3 spots, straight up to the top. 4 goes into 34 8 times. 8 times 4 is 32. Got a leftover of 2. 4 goes into 25 6 times. That's 24. Leftover of 1. 4 goes into 12 3 times. So you have 86.3. And one last one here. You got to move that over 2 times. So this has got to be moved over 2 times. You have a 0 right in there. That goes straight up. Okay, 381. We're going to put that into 1,143. I'm guessing that goes in 3 times. So that's 3. 8 times 3 is 24. That's 11. Oh, look, it goes in perfectly. So we put a 3 right here, which is 1143, but we also have to put a 0 in there because the decimal point's right out here. It's not going to go into 0 any times. So you put a 30 there, and you get 0.33. You get 11, and 11 plus 7 is 18. Carry the 1 and 3, 381.35. Thanks for watching.